Hey guys, I'm back. I'm sorry I had to switch from my iPad over to my computer because I want to give you guys some visuals. I'm gonna wait for the room to load. I am so sorry. This is an impromptu. Um, so I'm gonna wait for you guys to get in. So, um, I so basically it took me a minute to be like I wanted to talk about Dalton because and hold on, you know what? Matter of fact, let's do the countdown. Let's do the countdown because I had to get off of one stream and you guys gonna have to come over. I only had like two people on there. But I just want to make sure that you guys can so we're gonna do a standby really quick. Here we go. Y'all, I'm so sorry. So I tried to go on my MacBook, but it's like my MacBook is overheating. Hold on, let me turn off this fan. I got the fan on it. And it would not light up. I'm sorry. So I can't bring you the visuals I want to bring you because I'm on my tablet or my iPad. So I don't know how to do that. So we're going to do like a cute radio show, if you will. I'm having tech. There you go. BB must be having some tech. Just thank you. Thank you. Just humble me. Hey, Zell. So I'm gonna just bring it up. We're talking about Dalton, Illinois, and I hope you got. I was actually trying to finish up talking about the city girl mayor. Then Dalton, Illinois. That's what they're calling her. But I just figured I'd do a live stream because I'm someone that grew up in Dalton, and while I was talking to you, I was trying to explain. I was trying to come up with the visuals of the past. Like, y'all, first of all, I'm working on Seeking Sister Wives. That was wild, but we'll get to that later. Please hit the like, subscribe button if you're new here. So we're gonna talk a little Dalton history. And let me see if I know how to share this. I want to share, and like I said, I can't really. Let me go back to that. Sorry, just humble me, Clark. You just up there. Just humble me, Clark. It's up there. I don't see anything for this. I do. Is he still there? Hey, Dalton trustees. What's up? Is Brian still doing? Actually, I know Brian and his dad. Is he still there? His dad worked for me in public works. Yes. Yes. Not work for me. But if this is adult trustees, like this is a new YouTube channel, please subscribe. I was fearful. And y'all, if you can hear me, hit the one button because I hit something and I can't even see if I'm still speaking. But I was fearful to do this because we have legacies that grew up in Dalton. I did not grow up far from Miss Tiffany Henyard, actually. Let me tell you something about Tiffany Henyard, and I'm also going to get into, while we're talking about this, the Kenneka Jenkins. What? Hold on, Brian. Let me tell you something about Brian. You guys, if you, it's only three people in here, but this, we're going to be the most. I hope you guys share my video because we're going to be the most just non-biased. I'm actually Dalton trustees. I'm gonna talk. we're just we're gonna talk about the trustees as too because I have questions for them that I feel like people are not asking. And I'm also gonna talk about how I felt like Tiffany Henyard was actually right for Dalton at a point, and I understand why she was voted in. I'm also gonna talk about the past of Dalton. I'm also gonna talk about Andrew Holmes and how I think allegedly. So if you guys didn't know, we're gonna play the. I'm hoping on my tablet I can play the newscast where it was that trip to Vegas where Tiffany Henyard was like, no, did you go to Vegas? No, next I plead the fifth. But she was like a no comment on the Vegas trip, and now Andrew Holmes is brought into that. um I actually protested with the Kenneka Jenkins situation that was in Rosemont. If you know about the Kenneka Jenkins situation, hit one. And it was only because a client of mine was related to Kenneka. And I think the ghost of Kenneka Jenkins is coming to get Andrew Holmes. And we're going to talk about that later. We're going to talk about that. I feel like Andrew Holmes is being exposed not just because of the situation that happened. It just sounds crazy because it was two trustees, so nobody knew who did it, right? Yes, that was the young lady in the hotel. Yeah, Kenneka Jenkins. She was a young lady in the Yep, that was her. That was her. She was caught in the freezer. Andrew Holmes was on the now if you guys didn't know, we'll get into that, but this is just I'm talking from the hip. So we're just put your headphones on Let's talk about it. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let's talk about it. So Kenneka Jenkins was the one that was found in that Rosemont Hotel. Andrew Holmes was an advocate. Now we have a running joke about Andrew Holmes in my community. We're always like, how he show up when somebody died? Now I know it sounds sick when we say that, but it'll be like today a train wreck and Andrew Holmes will be on the scene. We'd be like, how would he travel so fast? We always would wonder that. But Kenneka Jenkins was a young lady that people say was found in the freezer. Her mother has since received a settlement. But Andrew Holmes was an advocate for the mother side, and allegedly he switched over to the hotel side. So we're gonna talk about that. But I want to get to if this is the Dolton trustees and if this is my this I don't know if this is the real Dolton trustees, but Edward Steve, I'm like fangirling if this is Edward Steve because he's been really really cool with because I do remember when he ran and he lost. Now I'm gonna be honest about the Dolton trustees and you guys without saying too much so I could protect myself. I think this is the youngest trustee board I've ever seen. And remember, I'm telling you guys, I went to grammar school in Dolton, and I still have friends that live out there and peers and business owners and all of that. But this is the youngest board. I don't know anybody on that board, but it's the youngest board we ever seen. I swear, everybody was ancient. And I definitely have my things I want to say, even when it comes to the old trustees that are coming back. No shade, no shade. I swear this is not shade. This is just thoughts. Like people are hailing Miss Stubbs. I have nothing against Miss Stubbs. Love her. But I'm like, I remember when she was around and I didn't see her. I didn't see the change. I didn't see anything different. It was just like vote for me, go to the waterfall in the middle of Dolton for the Jazz Fest, and that's it. It was nothing different. So to see this band of Dolton trustees is really, really interesting and it's kind of exciting. So that's why I wish that Tiffany Henyard was a little better at what they thought she was going to do because she had speaking of one band one sound, that would have been one band one sound, right? Let me read some of these comments. I don't know who's more ghetto, Trump and his sneakers or the city girl. And I'm gonna be honest, I really rooted for Tiffany. Like when I saw she was running for mayor of Dolton, and that's why I thought my voice was important in this. And it doesn't matter if we only got like 2 or 3 people on here. I thought it was important because I remember I told y'all I worked for Public Works and the superintendent was barely alive. He lived in a nursing home, y'all. His wife, I swear, he's not with us no more. So I'm just gonna spill the beans. And we joke about this all the time, us and the old Public Works workers. He was barely alive. He lived in a nursing home. His wife would just come collect his check. So when they be saying that Tiffany is hiring people that she know, I've seen that over years because I've worked in that situation, and that's what the mayors do. They hire who they know, and you get it. Matter of fact, shoot, I need a job right now. Trustees, I need a job right now. Y'all help me with a job. I do everything. But I remember working. I got the job because this is how I got the job at the Village of Dolton. I basically I was a single mom. I had my son at 16. I graduated. I went to school for a little bit. I went to college for a little bit. I was in college and I just couldn't make ends meet. So I was one day um I kept on applying for Dolton because I lived in Dolton at that time and I figured it was a short commute. I worked for a university downtown and the commute was so expensive, my check would eat up the commute. So I was like, man, I see all these people working for Dolton making this money. And that was back in the day, y'all. Like I'm saying, it's the 1900s, early 2000s. Let me see if I can get in. But it was so hard to get in unless you knew somebody. So Mayor Shaw was the mayor at that time. I would go to the village hall and I would drop application after application. He had a secretary named Jill. Jill was his secretary. And I can't remember her last name. And she would just rip up my application in my face and in front of me. I'm not lying. And then it was another security guard named, I'm not security guard, I'm sorry, she was a police officer. I think her name was Mirtha or something. And she would turn me around. And y'all, I was destitute. I barely could make ends meet. And one day I went to Village Hall and it was this guy named Dudley. Oh, thank you, Dalton. Everyone's with him when she first got. Oh yeah, and I want to talk about that, and I want to talk about the Dalton. I want to talk about Dorothy Brown too. Give me 1 second. I appreciate y'all being here. So it was now. I believe whoever run the Dalton trustees probably wasn't around as long. I'm older than everybody on the Dalton trustees board. Okay, except for Stan Brown and Andrew Holmes. So it was a lady named Mirtha. I think she passed away, but they would have a police officer in Village Hall, and this was an older building than what y'all see at the news. I don't even think that building is working anymore that I went to. So one day, it was this young officer. She was a woman. I snuck in there one day. I don't want to give her name because we still talk to this day, but if she give me permission, I will. But she's no longer with the village. I brought my application in for the 11th time. And I said, can I talk to someone? And she said, hold your thoughts. She brought my application to the back. As she was bringing my application to the back, another officer, he was in there. His name was Dudley. He was like 102 years old. I'm telling you, because Mayor Shaw was older, he brought all his older administration, sort of like Tiffany. She brings all her younger administration, right? So he said, okay, whatever. So he gave me the mayor's address. I didn't know where the mayor lived. He lived like a couple of blocks from where I live. He said, drop this in the mailbox. Y'all, I dropped that application in the mailbox. And that lady, that officer who I'll never forget, she dropped the application at the mayor's office. And he called me the next day. He said, go over to Human Resources and bring your ID. And he gave me a job in Public Works instantly. I think I was making like $14 an hour, $12 an hour, something like that. I also work for the housing department where you see that guy where what's his name? What's his name? Jason House. Now wait a minute. I banked with US Bank, saw Jason House, never knew he was a freaking trustee. That's how crazy it is. Never knew he was a trustee. But I do remember him knocking on my parents' door back in the day. And we were like, oh, this is a young brother. Let's go ahead and help him out. So this is what was so funny. Um, I'm sitting up here. I get a job at Public Works, and then I do so well there, they bring me to the housing department. I do somewhere there, they want to bring me to the water department because I brought professionalism because I had the education and I also had background doing grants and all this crazy stuff. So they would bring me around. Sorry, guys. It was amazing. That's where I met Brian Thigpen, Village of Dalton. That's where I met his Dalton trustee. That's where I met. I can't believe. Okay, so you guys, let me describe Brian Thigpen to you. And I thought about him the other day because I never saw him anything. He would always run around Dalton. So he was back in the day. I don't know what he did. I'm gonna be honest. His dad worked in Public Works, and from what I understood, but he also had another job. And Brian came in as a young. He was one of the youngest people when I was working there back in the day, and he would ride around. I think he did code enforcement. I think he would go around and do safety. Like, so let's say you got in a car accident. I think Brian would block off if the police wasn't there, he was like a safety guy. He would block off. If it was a fender bender, he'll block off the road. If it was a fight, he was just a nice guy, really nice, beautiful wife, sweet guy. And this is the problem with Dalton or any, what do you call it? municipality you work in. And that was my problem. If I worked for, let's say I got hired in 1998, Mayor Shaw was the mayor in 1997. I probably got hired a couple of years out, so 2001. It's time for reelection. They want you out there pounding the pavement, telling people to vote for you. Now, I don't know if that's legal or not. All I knew was to keep my job, I had to get out there during election time and had a precinct captain and tell people to vote. That's all I remember. I don't even remember if it was right or wrong. My whole basis was to feed my child. That's it. Um, when I see what Tiffany is doing now, when I was working for the mayor, I wasn't making $100,000 a year or nothing like that. Even though I had the ability to write grants, I was probably, I'm not trying, no shade. I was the most professional in the public works department, and I was the most professional in the housing department. I just was. I had the background, right? Um, I was more professional than a damn director of the housing department. BB, I would never. Let me tell you something. When I grew up in Dolton, and if you guys didn't know, please check out my last video. I have another video coming up, and it's going through the 80s, 90s, and 2000s of Dolton. Let me tell you something. I tried to get on some of these and that's why I felt like I wanted to talk about it. You guys are seeing one side where people are calling Tiffany Henyard a city girl mayor, right? But this is becoming like, what was that, January 6th? It's becoming like a racial thing. It's people from neighborhoods that ain't never been to Dalton just talking about black people for no reason, just being spewing hatred and stuff. I try to get in some of those groups on Facebook, like the nostalgia of Dalton from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Those people won't let you in because actually during that time, it was what they call white flight. It was. I remember when we moved into Dolton, my parents got a big house in Dolton. That's what we considered. To this day, I'm grown. I didn't think our house was big, but I think it was. It was big for Dolton. We had a corner house. It was a nice house. My parents got that house and they were proud of that house back then. My mom since passed away. Things are we're grown, so we're not there anymore. But we had a 4-level house, not like maybe 3 quad, what they call it. It was quad level, that's what they call it, but it was like a half a level on one section. um it was big, but I didn't realize it back then because all the houses in Dalton was nice. My friends, when you heard Tiffany Henyard say her friends were Susie and something, that was very true. um on our block, it was only two. No, I'm counting in my head. It was 4 black families. By the time I reached high school, it was 1 white family. That's just what it was. We had Asian families. Now they're saying it was white. We had Asian families, Mexican My friends growing up, I remember not learning about Selena because my friend Yolanda told me who Selena was in 1997. I didn't know who Selena was unless it was Selena Johnson I went to high school with. um, yeah, the next vote will be very racial. Yep, yep. Um, when it gets to Frank Zuccarelli, I'm gonna be honest. As I'm watching this, I don't need Thornton Township. That's not my thing. I don't have to need that. But I remember my mother when she was living, she took part of the senior programs. And Frank Zuccarelli, he was a big senior person. Like he would walk around, kiss everybody on the cheek, and he just would hug everybody. He was something. And he was the supervisor since I was alive. So Tiffany, since I was old enough to vote, Frank Zuccarelli was the Thornton Town. He was the only one on the ballot. It was nobody else. So for Tiffany Henyard to be the supervisor of Thornton Township, that is amazing. She is getting ill advice. When I see these people like Kiana Belcher, Jason House, uh Tammy Brown, I don't think people give Tammy Brown enough credit. I think she's needed because she's more seasoned. Have I seen Tammy Brown? Especially when my mother was sick and stuff. I didn't see her. I didn't even know she was a trustee. I'm gonna be honest. When my mother was still living and we were active in the community, I didn't see Tammy Brown. I didn't see uh, uh, Kiana Belcher. I didn't see Brittany Norwood. I did see Jason House. I did. And I saw Andrew Holmes. And I'm going to be honest, where the hell do Andrew Holmes live in Dolton? I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest. Also, the former mayor, Riley Rogers, is he still with us? I know he had a stroke, but could somebody tell us if he's still with us? And if you ever come across this video? Okay, so look, let's get down to the nitty gritty. Let me tell you about Andrew Holmes. So Andrew Holmes is a community activist. Um, why is he a trustee? It's because people saw his activism and we believed in him, right? People believed in him. Like he's we don't have Jesse Jackson is just a shell. I don't mean to alarm y'all. I don't mean to scare y'all. I saw Jesse Jackson maybe 6 months ago. We love Jesse Jackson. Jesse Jackson is that dude. I am really sad because back in the day when I worked for Mayor Shaw, Jesse Jackson Jr., he was, and his wife, Jesse Jackson Jr. and his wife were those people. They were almost like Jesse Jackson Jr. and Sandy Jackson could have been the Obamas. They could have went from, they were an attractive couple. They were smart. They had it all. And I don't know what happened to Jesse Jackson and Sandy Jackson. Y'all remember Jesse Jackson Jr. and Sandy Jackson? They both got, Jesse Jackson Jr. started talking about he was bipolar. Google it. Jesse Jackson Jr. I swear, I wish I was on my computer. You guys, I'm not bringing up the evidence because I'm on my tablet. Just this is just think of it as a podcast. We're talking. Jesse Jackson Jr. He was like, look, I ain't got it. I ain't got the money. I'm bipolar. He just went off the deep end. Sandy Jackson went to jail and they were like basically Obama juniors. Like they could have been anything. And they just, then remember Jesse Jackson had a baby on his wife. Y'all don't get me started. I remember working for Mayor Shaw and we would see Jesse Jackson Jr. And I know you can't tell by the photos, but he was the most handsomest, tallest guy. We were like, is that the same guy in the photos? He was just really nice, really polite. And y'all, Google Jesse Jackson Jr. please and find out where I don't know where he is today. But dude just went off the deep end. It was just weird. When I get into the politics of, oh my God, the Rahm Emanuel, y'all, I got stories for days. So I was back there in the mayor's office and I was a grant writer actually. So I was able to write grants when I got to the housing department. I also did the quick claim deeds. I also did the approval once you got building inspections. I did everything for Dolton. And I learned it via just working at other, not in municipalities. I worked for big name colleges at that time. And I went to Dolton just because it was so close to home. So, the just so you can feel the vibe there, whoever's in charge, they do take control. So let's say you say your girl Burgundy is in charge of the water department. Just like you saw that young lady talking, if you saw the board meeting and she was just talking. She's like, yeah, you think I'm the mayor pick, and I'm think technically you are. I'm not judging, but technically you are the mayor's pick. That's why you have the microphone. That's why it's no time because that's Tiffany is not the first person to do that. She's not the first person to do that. But I think that Tiffany Henyard as a mayor is getting ill advisement. If I recall, if Dalton trustees are still in here, can you hit the one if you're in here? Hit the one. And as a matter of fact, I want to invite you on. I not only have, because I want to talk about Dr. Nikita Cloud, and I also want to talk about Keith Freeman because I have some things to say, but I want it to be a rebuttal if I say it. Okay. Okay. Tiffany Henyard was the right pick because Dalton was for years. Just I remember Mayor Shaw and guys, if Dalton trustees, if you're still here and if you feel like it, I did hit the StreamYard. I did put start a StreamYard call in. We could call in and just give your opinion or discuss it with me. I feel like she was the right pick because she was young. I personally saw Tiffany Henyard in the community growing up, like 2012, 2013. I saw how she really went out there and like when she be saying loving on the people and it's like she really was doing that in the beginning as a trustee. I don't remember any other trustees going out there, but Tiffany Henyard was out there. Okay. When she was going for mayor, I drove one of my relatives to the polls so they could vote. When we get to the polls, Tiffany was there with her daughter. That just even made it even more sweet because she was there with her daughter at the polls and the polls were about to close and we didn't know what was going on. And it wasn't a lot of people coming out to vote. It was like an open forum and she was just there with her baby and it was like, man, if this single mom is the next mayor, this would be kind of awesome. Okay. So it started out, I believe that the trustees did vote for her because it started out that way. Because actually, I can vouch that a lot of people thought that Jason House would be the next mayor. I do think, actually, I'm not going to lie. I thought Andrew Holmes was going to be the next mayor because he was this community activist. And if I recall correctly, he was running for mayor at a couple of years ago. Was he running for mayor before Tiffany? I don't know. Riley, he had been running for mayor year after year after year. I was probably 16 years old when I saw Rogers run for mayor. It used to be him and this guy named Larry Rogers, and they would run for mayor and they would not get the votes, and Mayor Shaw would continue to run. Now, when I was working under Mayor Shaw, I remember him, like I was saying, he was opening up a water park. It was like 8 years. That water park still is. I think I'm going to do a video tomorrow. I walked through Dolton the other day and I never got to put that video up. It was still grassed up. It was still like, it was this industrial area and he was going to put a water park. But the thing about Chicago, even like with the ice skating rink, we need things for the community. We need things for the youth. But the major streets they're on and the busy streets is a problem. Even where you can exit off of the Chicago exit, it's just super duper duper busy. I remember never wanting to go to Needles Park because it was so busy. It was so busy. So, do you really want your kids to go out there and be exposed? It's not the safest. It's not. Dalton is not the worst. Let me say that. Dalton is not the worst. It's not like what you see people say, oh, it's the median income. It's people getting money over here. It's businesses thriving. I remember working for Dolton and it was a chamber of commerce. I don't know if they still have that. It's not like the businesses are coming in here. Like, excuse me, guys. We need more businesses to come in here other than a liquor store. Not to let me tell you, am I opposed to a liquor store? No, because it's like your own vices, like do or don't take it. I don't think we need so many liquor stores. I don't think that. Um, but if it's a grocery store with like if it's a deli and liquor, grocery and liquor, that's different than just a straight up. We don't need that many liquor stores where everybody competing. No, no, no. But um it's up to your own vices. But just the empty businesses, the empty yards, the empty strip malls, those need to change. Something needs to change. Even when we get down to that doctor, and you guys, like I said, I'm shooting from the hip because I don't have my computer available. But when we get to that doctor that's trying to open, I thought the free indeed market was Tiffany Henyard's. I didn't know it was a doctor that was trying to buy the old Jubilations Mall. Now, you guys, let me see if I got that picture. It might be kind of cool if I got it. It used to be, we used to call this place Jubilations, but it was Value Village in Dolton, and it was a church in Dalton. And now the lady from Free Indeed, she owns that mall. I might not have a photo. See, that's what sucks. I don't have a photo, y'all. She owns that mall, and she's trying to get Mayor Henyard to give her the building permits to expand that mall. Now, it was a currency exchange there. Man, you guys, I wish I could do this. We'll do it another day. But it's a currency exchange there. That man was there for maybe 40 years. He closed down. So this lady basically has the whole mall minus a nail shop. And I did do a video of that. I'm gonna try to put it up tomorrow. And they won't let her expand, like they're saying she didn't have the child. Let that lady give her the permit so she can go ahead and expand this food. This is the food desert. This is the food desert. We have one grocery store here in Dalton. Now, the people from Riverdale, I think they have a grocery store, Fairplay. No, we have two. I'm sorry, I just misspoke. We have two grocery stores. We have Fairway, which I don't even know why they open, because baby, I would not. No shade. Let me shut up. But we have Fairway, which is on Cottage Grove, next to where you famously saw the people getting the tickets at the Italian Fiesta place. We have the Fairway, and then we have Food for Less, right? So we have two grocery stores. But if you go to Riverdale, they might have one. But if you go to the south of Chicago, which we're right next to, which is Eden Green, and also you have the projects, which is, dang, I forgot the name of those projects over there. Do you guys know? If you guys are in here, you know the names of the projects on 130th. Let me know. I totally forgot, but it is a projects still there. It's still open. Dang it! Why can't I forget? I forgot the name of the projects over there. It's nothing over there, so they have to come to Dalton or Riverdale to get their groceries, right? Dang, why can't I remember the name of the projects over there? If you guys know the name of the projects, please put in the comments. But it's one of the last standing projects in Chicago, and it's right outside of Dalton. That's what they don't tell you. They don't tell you like we're right there. Now, it's not like a slummy project or anything like that. I've been in that project because I went in there to get my hair done, braided before. I've never lived in those projects. I don't know why I can't remember the name of the projects, but they're right there, and it's right next to Dalton. Okay. All of that, all of they rely on all we're right next to Chicago, right? If you're there in Dalton, and they rely on that money. Why can't I remember the name of the projects? I don't know. But that's how long it's been since I've, when my mother was here, I was active, active, active. But now that she's not, I'm not as active. We don't have to be around. When my parents came here, they came in the 80s. They came to Dalton in the 80s, and I saw this lady, like they really tried to build something, you know what I mean? Okay, so let's get back to how Mayor Henyard would have been so good. She was young. Her family were here, migrated. She saw the change. She wanted the change. She wanted things to be right. I do believe in her heart of hearts she wanted to be right. I think, in my opinion, Tiffany Henyard is getting so much bad advisement. Now, when it comes to the trustees, the fact that Jason House said he wasn't ready to run for mayor, I thought was actually noble. Like when he saw he wasn't ready. I saw him on Anton Daniels' show, and I was like, man, that, I mean, do you know, if you told me Burgundy run for mayor today, you know I would. Just because I'm like, oh, I got that ability. Okay, I'm gonna run for mayor. Jason House to sit up there and say, you know what? No, I'm gonna digest being a trustee for a little bit. I have seen every trustee run for mayor. Andrew Holmes, Valerie Stubbs, everybody have been like push number one for mayor when they weren't ready. And for Jason House to say that, I think that is actually signs of a good leader. Now, when it gets down to Tiffany Henyard, I think when she got the supervisor position, she should have just said, not train, but I'm not trying to say in a bad way, but said, Jason House, I'm going to put you in a position to be mayor after this because I need to focus on being a supervisor of Thornton Township. The fact that a seat has been taken for 30 years and you're the first black female, let me be honest, skip being the first black female mayor. You are the first black female Thornton Township supervisor. I would have put all my energy into that because you're holding two seats, right? Nothing wrong with it. That's legal. But now you're bringing all these people in to hold two seats with you, like Stan Brown. I think Kamal Woods. And I have no issue with the Andrew Holmes. But now you bringing them from Dalton to Thornton. No, 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 no. Just do a new cabinet over here at Thornton. You don't need to bring these people over from Dalton to Thornton. Let them handle your lightweight over here in Thornton and Dalton, right? Right? Um, I do think she's gonna run for both seats because it's sort of like a gamble, right? If I don't hit one, I'll hit the other. Now, if you want my opinion, if Tiffany Henyard will win the Dalton seat again, I think she may. Do you know why? If you want to know why, I'm gonna tell you why. Look, all you gotta do is go to Thornridge High School, get everybody 18 years old to vote for you. The youth vote and the seniors vote. If you cater to them, you're winning. If you cater to the youth, ice skating rink, parties, barbecues, seniors, bingo, this and that. If you cater to those two parties, you win. When you really think about Jason House, um, which we know he'll probably be running for mayor, um, he only has the votes of the people that are going to appear at the board meetings. And if you guys didn't know, the board meetings have never in the history of history been this crowded. I remember being at a board meeting, it was maybe six people. Maybe six people. Now, now you go to a board meeting, you can't have a seat, right? You can't even get a seat because everybody wants a piece of this. Everybody wants a piece of this. I actually feel bad. Oh, sorry guys. Let me get on out of here. Sorry, I was trying to pull a picture up for you. It was old Dalton. Let me see if I can get back to it. Shoot, it was old Dalton. I don't know. Okay. I was trying to pick Robert Taylor, nope. Robert Taylor is not it. Let me see. Let me get you the name of the Chicago projects. I don't know why I can't remember. Altdale Gardens is the name of the projects. It's Altdale Gardens. I don't know. It's very confusing, Ezel. Please, please no. Please no. This is a confusing situation. Tomorrow I'll come back with more videos. Today I think I'm just talking for people that are familiar. And I appreciate and love you so so much. Familiar with the Tiffany Henyard situation, like sort of like a podcast, because it's strange if you sort of lived it a little bit. Like I sort of lived it. Um so hey, just thank you. Um so now you got Jason House, right? You got these people at these board meetings, you got the YouTubers calling her the city girl. Those people, half those people are all these people on YouTube aren't gonna be able to vote for Tiffany Henyard. And let me tell you something. I was so distraught. I saw a YouTuber post the articles of incorporation, and I was following him. And you guys, I was so scared to say anything because I was like, I don't want to say anything, and people know who I am, and people try to attack my family or something weird like that, right? Or my friends' businesses. And I saw him post the articles of incorporation repeatedly with these five people who were the members of the Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation, the that controversial foundation, and he had their address. I knew because I'm from Chicago. I knew this was these people' home addresses or relatives. I was like, "Come on, man, you can't blur this out because everybody wants to be first to make the money, right? Everybody wants to be first to make the money." Um, I saw Dr. Nikita Cloud, who I don't know what it is about her. I love her. I really do. I saw Dr. Nikita Cloud, but I love her. Don't get me wrong. As a publicist and everything she do, I'm a little fearful of the way she. Sorry, guys, the way she comes out about everything. Because okay, let's get to the Andrew Holmes situation, and I'm not trying to blend the two, but it's just the way people move in this arena. Um, I'm trying to choose these words carefully. Tiffany Henyard was not a bad person, which is why she got elected. She was not hiding. If I can be 100% honest, you couldn't meet her and not like her. You know what I mean? She was a like. So what you see now, the city girl mayor, all this and that. It wasn't that she didn't. I'm gonna give you guys. And look, I'll dare somebody to challenge me on this. I was actually asked to work for Mayor Henyard for a project when she was after election for my other craft. You guys know my other craft is fashion. I turned it down, not because it was Mayor Henyard, but because I knew okay, look, what you were asking, and you guys, I got receipts. I got receipts. What they were asking me to do, I could not do it. Look, if you say Burgundy, you should. I wish I would have did it. Don't get me wrong. Because I need the income, but I couldn't do it on the what they wanted me to do, recreate this person. And if you look at Tiffany Henyard's pictures, it was to recreate this person, right? I didn't have the bandwidth to do it. That's what I'm saying. So that's why I declined. So to me, she has a phenomenal person that creates this look for her, right? She always looked polished. She's always looked put together. She always looks together. What I want to say is the outside of Tiffany that we see now, her hair always done, lashes always on, suits always done up. That was who she was in the inside to begin with. Um, but she just didn't have the placements. And I want to say, I think Dr. Nikita Cloud probably put that together. I don't know. Put the placements together. However, she was a good person. I actually think she is being ill advised. Okay, I'm gonna tell y'all something. This is firsthand experience. I was at the mall. I thought Michael Jackson was in the mall. This was months ago. I was in the mall. I thought Michael Jackson was in the mall. I was like, did Michael Jackson come back alive? Is he back alive or something? It was her around so many people, security. And I think, I'm going to be honest, I think it's too many men. Not none against men, love men, not none against you. It was a bunch of men. And when the men would see you, like if somebody would walk up to Mayor Henyard and say, oh my God, hello, they would look at you with a scowl, like a scowl. They'll look at you like you were beneath them. They would possibly push you out the way. And I didn't, it was a lot of people experienced that. When Tiffany Henyard was the people's mayor, the people's trustee, when she said she was the people mayor and she was loving on the people, she was really like that. That's how she wanted to come in. But I really think that the people around her are sabotaging this. And this is the effed up thing, guys. If she get caught up in the rapture, they're gonna ditch her. Oh, I ain't know nothing about that. Cause y'all could hear a pin drop today with that Andrew Holmes situation, right? You ain't hear not Andrew Holmes, the community activist, has allegations against him for a possible assault. He ain't got nothing to say. This man show up to, if you get a hangnail, this nigga's, I'm sorry, this dude show up to your hangnail situation with a at the funeral. He will show up and throw a funeral for your hangnail. So to see he doesn't have a response for anything, the community activist, that's ridiculous. And I think that she trusted some people and she formed this alliance with some people. And I do believe that some people backed her in a corner. Let me get to these comments because I'm just talking. Come on now, her mouth is reckless. What about her renting a moldy house in a bootleg shape? Come on, let's keep it. Okay. Let's keep it a buck. Hey, Aubrey, let's keep it a buck. Okay. Let's talk about that. Now, I'm going to break this down, this comment. Yes, her mouth is reckless. It's crazy. I don't like it. Especially at those I bet you ain't no board meeting next month. I ain't gonna be I'm being serious. Ain't gonna be no board meeting next month. But her in that moldy house, oh no, that was horrible. Now, I'm gonna be honest, from what I understand, it was like one of those situations. And like if the Dalton trustees are in here, tell me you're in here. I think she got a deal. Like it was like that. Do you, if you from the south suburbs, I remember when Dalton was selling houses for $100. Do you remember that? And who my Mayor Riley had this a sense of where you could buy a house for $100. It was like something that was huge. I think she got one of them houses, again got ill advisement, didn't know, and that's what happened. I don't think it was purposefully. Now, do I think she should be held responsible for that? Yes. Okay. The dang on Good Burger. Why would she name that dang on? I used to see her with the Good Burger hat. I didn't know what it was, but it's like, why would you name that restaurant after that movie and not clear it? I'm with you on that. Okay. So this is what I'm saying. Like, I'm saying that, do I think she meant well? Just so I'm clear, I think she meant well. Do I think she's well versed in politics? No. Y'all, let me tell you something. I remember Rahm Emanuel, the mayor of Chicago. Like, you guys, if you don't know, I worked in academia and I worked in politics before I started doing, not politics, but I worked for a municipality. before I started doing my own little clothing business. And I've made mistakes in my own business. I'm being 100% honest. I made horrible, horrible mistakes just from ill advisement. Okay. But I worked in municipality and I also worked in academia. Okay, let me tell you what happened. I worked for 2 summers, Rahm Emanuel office in academia. This is the mayor of Chicago, and his brother is the, what do you call it? He's basically, you guys ever saw what's the name of that show on HBO? It was like about these guys, but his name is Ari Emanuel. I don't even know the name of the show. Entourage. That was the name of the show. But Rahm Emanuel brother is Ari on Entourage, right? True story. True story. And he would go around, Rahm Emanuel would go around in Chicago and tell people how beautiful they are, not in a perverted way or nothing like that. But I think you'd be good for acting. And I would see some of my colleagues quit their job to go work for Rahm Emanuel brother in Hollywood. To this day. To this day. I think it was WMA. And I think if I'm not mistaken, you guys can look that up. If I'm not mistaken, Rom doing some in Hollywood now. But his brother was like the president of WMA agency. And I would see a lot of my colleagues who were beautiful women and men, and they would just leave because Rom Emanuel and told them, you don't need to be into academia. You need to be on TV, and they wouldn't make it. And then they come right back to trying to teach or trying to be on a school board or stuff like that. I'm saying that sometimes people can be mean well but get ill advisement. That's all I'm saying, Aubrey. I'm not trying to say that she's right or anything like that. Now, the Tiffany Henyard we see today, if I was Tiffany Henyard today, May, today, I mean, Mayday, 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 I would get up out of there. That's my thoughts. I would get up out of there. Leave Dalton alone. And I would actually, I don't know why Andrew Holmes is still there. It should have been an announcement immediately. What, let me tell you something. If it's just accusations, that's fine. But it should have been an announcement immediately that he is what do you call it? Suspended as a trustee. If allegedly this is his situation, like people are saying Andrew Holmes. Now let me tell you my thoughts. Why are they trying? Okay, if Andrew Holmes is just a trustee in Dalton, why is the complainant, from what we saw, she's suing the Thornton Township? That's what made me think: is it more than just Andrew Holmes? Because why are you suing Thornton Township where he's not a part of? I know Tiffany is, but also Stan Brown is. So just a question. I'm just wondering, like, this is very embarrassing for Dalton. Like, we've had Mayor Shaw where people was complaining. People are like, he's a crook. He's a crook. And they never locked him up, put him behind bars. And now every day the village of Dalton is in the news. This is embarrassing. I'm very proud of the trustees though for going after it, but I also think that's why I wanted to talk about the trustees. I think they're young too. They're too young because they voted in Keith Freeman. They voted in Dorothy Brown. They voted in, and then they try to vote them like they were like, oh, we thought they backed Tiffany Henyard. I think they're new too. And I think the only safe haven will be Jason House. But once Jason House get in, who is his adversaries? Like, because you still have the trustee board and you still have the clerk. So what is the adversaries that he will face? Okay, let me read this next thing. Okay, I hear you. I'm just saying her not paying her bills with the college taxes. Oh, yeah, I heard about that. I heard that she still owe like what, $2,000, $3,000 to the college. Okay, and we're gonna talk about that college in another video when I can get there because I have something to say about Zuccarelli and the college board. Her character is just unbelievable. I don't see how anyone voted for her if they did any kind of background check. Well, it wasn't a big voter turnout. Aubrey. It just wasn't. The voter turnout was not big. Like I said, I took a neighbor and a relative to go vote, and they lived in Dalton, and they walked right it wasn't no line, no waiting. You know what I mean? So it, like when she said she won 82%, it was only 1,000 votes. Dalton has $20,000, 20, I'm sorry, 20,000 plus citizens. And it's 1,000 votes that voted, 1,001. Make it make sense, right? But thanks for your comment. Thank you for being here too. Aubrey, 70 million people voted for a man found liable of, yeah, people, yeah, they did. They voted for it. They definitely did. They definitely voted um for Trump for sure. So you guys, I just want to give you my experience. I really don't want beef, but I just thought it was important that somebody who was here, who have seen it, who grew up there. I actually went to the same school as Tiffany Henyard, high school wise. Um I'm older, of course. I think I was going out as she was coming in. But I do believe she had good intentions. I think, and this is my personal opinion, that it was a power struggle. Now, when it comes to stuff like when we get to Zuccarelli and how Stephanie Wheatman, she's been on this press tour of how when Tiffany came in, she was fired. Stephanie was the chief of staff of Zuccarelli. That was going to be intimate. However, she got right in with the Park District of Dalton, and I don't believe she lives in Dalton. You know what I mean? No shade to Stephanie. Shout out to Stephanie. Uh, I understand where you're coming from. But 20 years as a chief of staff of, it's sort of like if you're the president, right? The president gonna have his vice president. They're gonna bring in their own people. That's just what it is. They're gonna bring in their own people. Now, I think that Stephanie should have been fired? No. Should she have been given another position? Yes. But I did hear an interview when Stephanie said that Tiffany said, I'm gonna let you choose where you're going to go, and then that meant somebody else was going to be let go. And I commend her. She was like, no, I think you should make that decision, because she didn't want anybody else to lose their job on her account. Now, when I worked for Dolton, I remember this like it was yesterday. Or every election day, I remember one time, I'm gonna give y'all inside scoop. I'm gonna give you inside scoop. Mayor Shaw was up against, I think it was Larry Rogers. And it was some dude, if you guys remember, it was some dude that got arrested for like child something. His name was like, it started with an M. I don't remember. Oh my God. I'm going to have to, Marion, it wasn't Marion Barry. I'll remember it later. I'm sorry, I'm not prepared this video. His, anyway. So I was working for Mayor Shaw, and Larry Rogers and him were no. I'm probably lying to y'all. Please forgive me. I might have been working for his twin brother. Now, see, that's how the double dip had come in. I wasn't working for the twin brother. I was working for Mayor Shaw, but I was commissioned. I was at work, and I was picked up, and like everybody, all of them did now. Mayor Shaw did, Commissioner Shaw did, and whoever else I'm talking about did. So I was picked up from, remember you guys, I'm telling y'all I work for Public Works, and the man, you guys, this story is hilarious. I swear, one day I'm gonna do a whole story. So the man, he was so old, and I'm not, it's no age discriminatory, nothing. He was so much older. He literally would make us drive him, or he was a public works supervisor. So when you guys see the young guy on there, I was just shocked. This guy name was, I'm gonna give you his real name because he's not here, Mr. Copeland. He was like 110 years old when I got there. He couldn't see, he couldn't drive, he barely could make it across from, he could barely walk into work. We would pick him up from his door, bring him into work, and drop him off at home. That's how Mr. Copeland was. We didn't see him at all that day. So I basically ran, I mean, in the day, I basically ran public works. Even though it was the real able bodied workers there, I basically ran there day to day. If you wanted your branches picked up, you wanted your garbage picked up, that was me. I was the one you would call and answer the phones. So it was so funny. One day, the mayor was, no, I think it was the commissioner. Cause okay, so if you didn't know, Mayor Shaw had a twin brother. Now, Mayor Shaw was the mayor before the last mayor. So he was two mayors, no, three mayors before Tiffany. So let me tell you how Tiffany is right. She's the youngest black female. She is. The mayor before her was Riley Rogers. He had a stroke. I have no idea if he's still alive. I think he is, but I just think he had a stroke and he's out of commission. I don't know. If anybody know if Riley Rogers is alive, let me know. The mayor before that was Willie Lewis. Wait, Lewis. I think it was Willie Lewis. His name was. I can't remember. But Mayor Lewis. Ronnie Lewis. That was his name. Ronnie Lewis got that seat because he was in the same position as Tiffany at one point. He was the head trustee. So think of Ronnie Lewis as Jason House, and the mayor died. So if Tiffany, I'm not gonna would, if she was to pass away, Jason House will be our mayor, right? Um, so you got Ronnie Lewis, and Ronnie Lewis only got that seat because Mayor Shaw died. So it's about four people. Now before that, you had Mayor Hart. About four people died. That's how old I'm not age discriminating. That's how old everybody was. They was dying in office from old age. I'm not exaggerating. They was that old, they was dying in office. Okay. So the next person will come about. So now we got this young mayor who know what the people were. Now, Mayor Shaw didn't care nothing about. I'm not, and I'm no shade. I loved Mayor Shaw. He was cool to me. He didn't care about no young people. He didn't care. I mean, he was like, look, y'all go to the park district with that. That's where you go. You got Valerie Stubbs that stand up there, right? Valerie Stubbs is up there, but she was a trustee. I'm not shading Valerie, but when you look at these people, they're basically trying to get back on board with the new administrator. So if you see Valerie Stubbs coming up, old trustee, this, that, she ran for mayor too. What's going to happen is when Jason House become mayor, she's gonna be somewhere in that board. Just mark my words. She's gonna be somewhere around, somewhere with a job. That's what everybody's gearing to because even though it seems like 2025 is the next, that's not that far away. So we got February 2025, she's gonna run. All these people are gearing for positions. Now, when I okay, so I was so let me get back to what happened. So I was at work with the old I was in the public works department with the old supervisor, and he called me. He said, "Burgundy, yes, they're coming to pick you up." I said, "Okay." So I stand outside like at a bus stop, and it's a bus, a van of people coming to pick us up, and every one of us work for Dolton, and we're going down to the Cook County office at this time, and we're going to count votes because something happened when votes were missing for the Cook County commissioner. So, and like I said, this is in the past. So the votes were missing for the Cook County commissioner, and we were counting votes by paper back then. And we were trying to make sure that Mayor Shaw's brother had his votes counted. And that wasn't, I don't even remember if I got paid for that day. I probably did. But that wasn't on, like, so I'm trying to say this like, Tiffany is not the first to do it. It is wrong what she's doing, like they saying with taxpayer dollars, except for the Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation. They were pointing out points that she used township money. Everything was authorized. That's why I think that she's gonna get away with stuff, even when Jason House be like, "I want to take this out. I want to take this out. I want to take that." That stuff still paid on the credit cards. Everything's authorized, and she has the ability to make these payments. Um, Now why she's not giving the boards the receipts and why nobody is making her give the receipts, I have no idea. But Kim Fox ain't stepping in. Kwame Warrell not stepping in. The FBI not stepping in. I don't care what they say. The FBI. That's rumors. That's rumors. Nobody's stepping in because a lot of the stuff Tiffany is doing is authorized. It's really just salacious new stuff. Like this stuff has been going on for years. Is it wrong? Yes. Is she authorized? Like let's be 100%. Jason House is the president of U.S. Bank. I think he was at one point. But the Village of Dalton don't have any kind of bank account with U.S. Bank. It's only with Fifth Third Bank and American Express. Some ain't right here. Some ain't right here. When the people come in and get the jobs, the trustees are approving them for the jobs, but then they don't like it, and then it's reduced. Something's not right here. Something's not right here. Okay, that's all I want to say about that. It's just something's just not right. And I'm so passionate about this because I remember being in that neighborhood, being in that town and thinking that things would go back the way it used to be. Like the parks didn't have swings anymore, the slides was broken, and then Tiffany Henyard was somebody young that was coming in here. But then on the side now, you can't drive down the street without getting your wheel blown off. So that has to be paid for. I've never in the history of my life heard that Dalton had a $30 million budget. Dalton had a $30 million budget and nothing fixed. The infrastructure sucks. The only new restaurant that they got was Taco Bell rebuilt. It's weird, man. It's just weird. So that's what I want to say. I Now, okay, let me talk about the new mayor. The new mayor should be Jason House. We should give him a chance. And then Jason House chief of staff should be Brittany Norwood. And I'm gonna tell you why. Brittany Norwood, out of all the trustees, and I know nothing about this lady at all. She seems the most humble. She's not looking for camera time. She's not on every interview on the internet. It's like she's really trying to fight for Dalton. I don't know what it is about Brittany Norwood, but people don't talk about her a lot. But I really like her spirit. I don't know anything about this lady, but the way she only comes forward when needed, I like it. She doesn't overtalk. She doesn't tell too much. She's not like one thing about Brittany Norwood, she's not telling no secrets. Let me tell you this. Some and no shade to the trustees. I like that they're a young board. But some of them go back and be like sort of like they'll go back and say, "Oh, y'all don't know this, but I'm gonna give you the inside scoop." Brittany Norwood don't do that. And so because she doesn't do that with Tiffany, with the old girl pink book lesson called Tiffany Teflon Towel. Because she don't do that with Mayor Tiffany, I don't think she'll do that on Jason House. I watch other people and when you turn on, and y'all let me know if this makes sense. Put comment, let me know if this makes sense. If you're gonna spill the beans about things that happen in private conversations, which you have the right to, there's nothing wrong with that. Um, I like that Brittany Norwood kind of just don't say nothing. unless it counts. She's not like, oh, I'm gonna tell you who Tiffany boyfriend is, or I'm gonna tell you when she voted on this or what she did. I love Brittany Norwood. That's my vote for chief of staff under Jason House. Okay, so you guys, let's get to Kenneka Jenkins. So remember Kenneka Jenkins? She passed away. She was the one found in the freezer, and it was like this mystery, and her friends left her and all this stuff. So Andrew Holmes, he was rallying and doing what activists does. He was trying to tell us all about Kenneka Jenkins and the family woes and how to help them. But all of a sudden, allegedly, Rosemont, and you guys can Google this, Andrew Holmes and Rosemont, or Andrew Holmes and Kenneka Jenkins. And all of a sudden, they said allegedly the hotel reached out to him, and then he told Kenneka's mother, you know what, drop the lawsuit. So Kenneka's mother went back to the news outlets, and she was like, I don't like what he's doing. I think he's double dipping. And he's not for me. And the news really didn't pick it up too hard. It was another um it was another community activist that was sort of against Andrew Holmes here in Chicago. I think his name was Josiah. But you guys, something happened with him where he had this whole relationship situation that made him uncredible to people. Like, once gossip come out, that'd be like if some gossip came out with me, well, they'd be like, Burgundy is Tiffany Henyard's sister. Or something like that. Y'all would think I'm not credible anymore, right? But some came out with Josiah, and you guys, I promise when I get to my computer tomorrow, we'll do a breakdown. Um, he got in this relationship thing. I'm gonna be honest. It was like people were thinking he was bisexual, and Jedediah, that was his name, Jedediah Brown. And some happened where people were thinking he was bisexual, and for some reason, bisexuality made him uncredible. I don't agree with it, but people were like, "Oh, he gay. We don't believe him." It was weird, and he was like trying to tell everybody Andrew Holmes was crazy. Anyway, the Kenneka Jenkins' mother was fighting with Andrew Holmes. She also accused Andrew Holmes, and I have to put allegedly, of trying to talk to her like in a sexy way, like trying to come on to her. Okay, allegedly. All right. Fast forward, Kenneka, this is what, 4 years later, Kenneka Jenkins' mother won the settlement against the Rosemont Hotel. And that is that. Okay. Andrew Holmes also, if you did not know, turned in his brother to the police for stealing Amazon packages off people porches. I know that sounds funny, but it's not. But he was like, "This my brother, but I'm turning him in because I caught him. Somebody caught him on a Ring camera, and he's stealing a Amazon package." The brother, in turn, tried to expose Andrew, but because he was caught riding a bicycle looking poor, he was also deemed uncredible. So now we fast forward to the village of Dolton. Now, did I ever think we would get here with Andrew Holmes, the community activist? And I didn't know it was between Andrew Holmes and Stan Brown for me, allegedly, because I was like, well, that she's suing a township. So basically, Tiffany Henyard's old assistant went to that trip to Vegas, and she said that she woke up in discomfort and she was with a trusty official, and they also turned into the police that allegedly um the police officer heard Andrew Holmes boasting about having sex with Tiffany Henyard's assistant. But Tiffany Henyard's assistant said that it wasn't consensual. So that's where we are today. Now, what I find interesting is if I was Andrew Holmes, come on out. Come on out. Because you're a community activist. You're used to the cameras. You're used to the light. You're used to being in the forefront, right? Why wouldn't you just come out and say, I did not do this? It's weird to me. Everybody's quiet. Everybody's quiet. So that's where we are today with the Village of Dawn. Like I said, my goal on this page, I'll probably open another page because we're over here. We're talking sister wives and TLC and Netta and Charles. But I kept seeing people sort of sorry guys, getting over this cold still. I saw people kind of sort of talking about the Village of Dalton, but never really lived it. Never saw, like, imagine being in the Village of Dalton. Aubrey, let me know if you know about Dalton. Just being there years after years after years. I also got to see how the inside works, how the politics work. And let me tell you something. Um, she's keeping her people paid. Does that make it wrong? I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. Because I've seen it, like I said, I've seen it year after year. When Riley had his people by him. Tiffany got her people by her. Shaw had his people by him. Well, I remember when Hart was the mayor, and that was when all the previous mayors were white, right? And Mayor Hart was the mayor. And when I came to the Village of Dalton, some of his relatives still worked for the Village of Dalton, but they were under a union contract, so they couldn't leave. They were able to stay there. They could not get fired because they had a union. And it wasn't a police union, it wasn't a public works union, it was some kind of civil union with like clerks and stuff were a part of. And I think that was kind of cool. Um so to hear that Brian, like, Dalton trustees came up there and said, um Brian Thigpen, the most sweetest guy I ever met in Dalton, to see that he's not there no more. That's crazy. That's crazy. Uh, a good guy, just a all around good person. And that's the thing. When you work for these municipalities, once you're gone, let's say they fired me tomorrow. Where I get my letter of recommendation from? I didn't work for you for 3-4 years. Where I get my letter of recommendation from? So, y'all, I don't know. That's my question. I'm not on anybody's side. Like I said, I don't have a dog in this fight. I just find this whole political situation very interesting. I think that she is the youngest mayor. And I think she has real I if I was Tiffany here, I think she got really bad advisement. And it's almost like, do somebody know, do someone, if you get rid of someone, are you scared to get rid of someone because they're giving you such bad advisement? It's just, if you could wake up tomorrow and see that the news is covering all these stories, if you could wake up tomorrow and just make a statement and change your whole agenda, would you? I remember, y'all, I ain't gonna lie. Frank Ziccarelli. I was at one of those senior events with my mom, and this man was kissing people in the mouth. Y'all, it was, if you guys ever come across this video and you ran across Frank Ziccarelli, man or woman, black or white, when he saw you, he was gonna hug and kiss you. Tell me I'm lying. I When I came across Frank Zuccarelli, I would run because I didn't want nobody kissing me. So he was beloved by the people. 30 years. 30 years. Now, let me tell you this. That he was in service. As much as I did, now I don't live in Dalton anymore, but the township, I definitely have a relationship with the township of Thornton. Um, I don't recall knowing as many programs were available when Frank Zuccarelli was alive. than when Tiffany came. Now, I don't know if it's because she's so highly publicized, but I was like, Thornton Township got a food pantry. Thornton Township got rental assistance. Thornton Township, now I knew they had senior activities, but there was so many things I didn't know they had. And you guys just let me know. Let me know. And that's it. I'm just on here talking from a person that, you know, definitely saw things happen and change and how things were. I don't mean any malice. I don't mean any ill will. I just want to see how things play out, especially on this Andrew Holmes situation. Like I said, I'm just really, really concerned that he did not say anything after his name was all over the news, because he's the first person in the forefront when anybody else's name is on the news. That's what blows my mind. That's what blows my mind. So you guys, that was my little 2 cents, and we've been on here an hour and a half. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and also watch my video on traveling through Dalton and the past of Dalton. And I'm actually gonna put some more things about Dalton up there, past and present. It's like, it's not a bad place. It's just like, it's not, it hasn't reached the brink of ran down. It's other suburbs surrounding Dalton that are more scary, more run down. But I'm really proud of the trustees and how young they are. But I hope they are forming an alliance. I hope they're forming an alliance to get things together and get it right. Because, like I said, they voted this person in, that person in, this person in. They approved this, that, and that because they believed in Tiffany. So now that you see what's going on, I don't want Jason House to walk up and possibly become the new mayor. And if that's what's to happen, I don't know, and he walk into that same indecisiveness. And finally, if you don't know how much money is being spent, what, like, y'all are crying out to all these outlets. I'm talking to the board of trustees. We need to see the receipts. Like, where is Kim Fox is up for re-election too, right? Why is nobody telling Kim Fox? I know she had a relationship with Tiffany here, and it's like a democratic thing. But why is nobody going to Kim Fox and saying, "Look, this is crazy. This is crazy." Like, no one's. I don't believe the FBI been here. I don't care what anybody say. I don't believe the FBI been to Illinois to seek out, or Chicago or Dalton to seek out Tiffany Henyard. I don't. I believe other departments might have been there, but especially when it gets to this assault case, it might. But to have no receipts, why y'all even at the board meeting? Why, like, maybe y'all should, as trustees, everybody just protest and not attend. Would that be bad? I don't know. All right, y'all. That's my 2 cents. Thanks for joining me. Hit like, comment, and subscribe if you want to hear more Dalton stuff. We're not gonna try to get messy. Like, I don't have a dog in this fight. This is just stuff I'm observing. I remember at one time I wanted to run for trustee of Dalton. I was like 27 years old. My mentor was Mrs. Creighton, who she taught me. She was running for the school board, and she was also my guidance as a youth. And the Creighton family is big in Dalton. And I just didn't, because at that time I was so scared because I had a young child that I was very scared. I was very scared that my parents would be affected, my son would be affected by politics. And the person that backed me when I wanted to was an actor. I don't know if you guys ever saw True Blood, but his name was Nelson Ellis. And we went to high school together. And Nelson, that's what his name was, Nelson. He passed away maybe 4 years ago. But he was from Dolton. He got the job as Lafayette on True Blood, and he was backing me as trustee at one point, and I got so scared. I got so scared, y'all. So I just never ran. And at that point, I ran into Tiffany Henyard years later. I don't know her personally. I've never gotten to mingle with her personally, but I did like her from what I saw from afar because she always was in the community and she always was trying to do something for the people. And she was always against like what she said, she's against corruption. I don't know I'm with Dr. Nikita Cloud. I don't know who this person is. I don't know who this person is. Hey, Miss Indies. South Sub used to be really nice when you. I'm glad to hear you talking about it. Good night. Good night, babe. You remember Nelson? Yeah, and poor Nelson. Like it was a lot going on. But I think his son is still in the south suburbs of Chicago. And shout out to him. He's very great, handsome, articulate, beautiful young man. I think he might be a teenager by now. So yeah, he left a beautiful son behind. So yeah, y'all, I'm gonna get out of here. I just wanted to talk about it, and I'll probably do another channel because I don't want Tiffany hearing stuff to take away from my uh gritty reality TV stuff I like to do. But I thought it would be nice to hear from a person that actually live here because I hear like I actually live there, and I hear from other people that do the commentary and I'd be like, not that they're wrong, they're doing a beautiful job. My favorite person to listen to the commentary is I, I had a favorite until he posted that dang on thing with everybody addresses on it. And I'm like, sir, you can't blur that up. Like, you got 5 people and their personal addresses, and people are mean. I know it's public knowledge, but when we post stuff like O'Shea Duke Jackson, he does a million videos on Tiffany Henyard. He blurs everything out. I don't like when people just put people personal information out there. It just sucks. But my favorite so far covering it is Shawan Burns. I like her. Um, I think she's kind of, gritty when she gets down to it. But I like to hear her talk about it. And I did, like I said, I did have a favorite, but it was like he was rushing to be first. He's always rushing to be first. And I still listen to him, but I'm like, you're just rushing to be first and you're messing up stuff. I don't like that part. But yeah, I just thought it'd be good for somebody that really went through the community. Like I said, I took a lot of videos when I went through there the other day. I'm gonna share with you guys through the week. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And also, it's not all bad. And if any of the trustees want to come over here to this small channel and talk about things, and Tiffany Henyard. Oh, I wanted to say that Tiffany Henyard podcast. Sorry, guys. Still getting over this cough. It's not going to be a podcast. I think what Tiffany was trying to do was see how many people's going to tune in. I mean, it's going to be a podcast probably, but it's probably like an outlet to see if she has another income. Because remember when she was on Rolling, and she was like, "People, I'm clickbait. People get paid by the views by my name." And I think she thought that maybe she could get paid on that. But to be a supervisor and to be a mayor and to be answering all these questions, she just doesn't have time for. Now I'm gonna tell you who needs to have a podcast. That dang old Dr. Nikita Cloud. That would be hilarious. She be visiting all these other podcasts, but she needs to have her own podcast. The Dolton trustees, they have a good page. That's pretty cool. But I would like to just see them all sit down. Like, is it any way to just say, truth, let's talk about it? Especially after this Andrew Holmes situation, allegedly. I have to say allegedly. Because they're saying Andrew Holmes, but I'm gonna tell you from Burgundy, this is my head. Why is Thornton Township being sued too? We just gonna put a pin in that. We just gonna put a pin in that. But I just think it would be really, 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 really cool if they could just say, okay, truce, here go the receipts. I effed up. Or truce, here go the receipts. We paid the money back. Or truce, here go the receipts. Let's try to fix this. I wish it could be something like this because they are so all young. They're so young. They really are. And I think they can make a difference. Like this, the history of Dolton has been going down. Now we have this young administration, young trustee board. Let me tell you, all the trustees I worked with when I was around back in the day, they was half dead. I'm not even playing. Y'all think I'm playing? Half of the trustees and the staff lived in nursing homes, and they were collecting a pension and they was working for them. It was weird. Like they had retired from their jobs like 10 years. And then whatever connection they had with the mayor at that time, he brought them in. Like let's say my supervisor for public works was, I think he was a sanitation supervisor for Chicago, right? In 1939. I'm just throwing a number out there. And they were like, okay, come work for Public Works. He didn't even know what a wire was because it wasn't any wires in 1939. It was freaking crazy. It was crazy. So when I see these young people, I'm so thrilled. Like I was so excited to see that young Public Works guy talk. I swear. He seemed so nice. And then when Tammy Brown said something that he was like, first of all, what you not gonna do, it just turned me off. I was like, see, now this the problem. Now this the problem. Now this the problem. So you guys come here. We'll stream the board meeting if it is one next month. I don't think it is gonna be one next month. I really don't. Because unless this gets resolved, ain't nowhere Andrew Holmes sitting up there on that board. I really also wish that the mayor would have the trustees up on the side of her again. I don't think that's fair. I think they all should be aligned and in the same thing. Okay, Jan, go off then. Thank God nobody. Okay, girl. Oh, guy, John, thank you. Go off. Um, I wish they were all aligned together again because if you had that same passion for the village, then maybe bring it back now, even if you have your differences. And that's my point. Like I hope they could bring togetherness. It don't seem like it's so far gone that they can't. It can get that far gone, but bring that togetherness back. And my advice, I ain't nobody. Let's go ahead and position Jason House to be the next mayor for Dolton. Let's go ahead and position Tiffany to do the best job she can do as a supervisor while she still is in that position for the next year. Because that's 17 cities, right? That she's governed. Let me tell you what people don't understand. If you keep telling people they're not going to make it, they're going to get out of there, you're going to push them out of there, you hate them, they're going to do worse and worse to garner all the money and the coin and everything they can garner because you're trying to push them out, right? So they're gonna do worse and worse and treat things because they like, man, I ain't gonna have this next year, so let me go ahead and act the fool. So let's try to do that. And then let's get the trustees in order so they can do their job. That's it. That's all. And bring Brian Thigpen back. Who? I can't believe Brian Thigpen is gone. Y'all, this is so funny that somebody brought up his name. I was just thinking about him, like why we don't see him in any of the videos. He was literally somebody that would be out there everywhere. I just don't understand it, but here we go. All right, y'all. So I'll be back. So next video, we're gonna talk about Panazzos. We'll talk about the whole. If you're an old school Dalton head, we'll talk about jubilations, Panazzos, the I'm sorry, the Hostess Bakery. We'll also talk about eagles. We'll talk about that graveyard that's haunted and all of that good stuff. As always, I'm not judging. I'm not even judging Mayor Tiffany, okay?
Bitches be getting cheated on every day.
Who am I to judge? Make sure you take care of yourself and each other. Bye.
Commentary blue, commentary burgundy, burgundy, commentary, commentary blue, commentary, comment burgundy blue, commentary blue, commentary burgundy, commentary, commentary.